Today we're in the kitchen with our friends at Domino Golden Sugar to show you the ultimate holiday cookie. We're making gingerbread people. Domino Golden Sugar, it's kind of one of my current obsessions in the kitchen. Obviously, everyone knows the brand from their granulated sugar, confectioner sugar, brown sugar, but golden sugar is a less processed version of granulated. You can use it one-to-one in baking, and it adds just a hint of molasses flavor, which I really love. So we're gonna use it to make gingerbread people. So obviously we have our golden sugar, but we're also going to be using molasses, butter, brown sugar, an egg. We got ginger, cinnamon, clove, and then flour, leavening agents, a little bit of salt. First things first, I have 4 cups of flour here. I'm just gonna get all of our dry ingredients ready so that when we have our mixture going for the cookie dough, I can just dump it in and not worry about it. The most important seasoning in gingerbread cookies isn't cinnamon, it's ginger. You think about the spice and the kick and all of the really pungent flavor you get out of these cookies. You need a lot of ground ginger, so I'm using a full tablespoon. Then we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. Cloves are super intense, so I only need a little. 1 teaspoon of salt. Anytime you have a cookie, if there's not at least a teaspoon of salt in the recipe, if not more, it's not enough. And then our leaveners, we have 1 teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Just gonna whisk this together. Helps make sure it all gets distributed evenly throughout the cookie dough. I am going to add 1½ sticks of softened unsalted butter to a stand mixer with the paddle attachment. 1/2 cup of light brown sugar. The combination of light brown sugar and typically granulated sugar, but in this case we're using golden sugar, is the combo between chewiness and crispness. The granulated sugar, or in this case, golden sugar, adds that perfect crisp bite to a cookie, and then the brown sugar and the molasses that we're gonna throw in is what gives that really chewy, delicious, warm spice feel. Always spray your measuring cup with non-stick cooking spray. It is the key to getting every bit of molasses out easily. Finally, 1/2 cup of our golden sugar. Like I said, this is not only gonna add crispness to the cookie, but it has that hint of molasses to kind of really bridge the flavors between brown sugar, actual molasses, and the golden sugar. Best part is it pours just like granulated sugar. All right, we are going to cream it now. Just getting this going on a low to medium speed until it is light and fluffy and all that sugar and butter are incorporated. Let's give it a little scrape down. This is looking good. I'm just gonna crack 1 egg inside to kind of keep the whole dough together. We wanna make sure it's completely incorporated, and then we're gonna add our dry ingredients. Just gonna throw in all of our dry. Again, try to get it all into the bowl. I typically get at least 30% onto the counter. Today, I'm determined. Beautiful. Start it on low so you don't have flour all over your counter. Once it starts to get incorporated, we'll bump up the speed. All right, we're done. The dough looks so good and it smells so fragrant. What I'm gonna do is typically chill this for about an hour. What I like to do is kind of lay out some plastic wrap, dump it on top, fold it up like a package, and then you kind of press it into a nice little rectangle to make it easier when you roll out. That being said, you can also just keep this in a bowl and pop it in the fridge. You can do anything you want. Now we're gonna make some royal icing. This is a super classic way to decorate cookies. It's a mixture of sugar and egg whites. Today we are going to use golden sugar. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to pop it in a blender and whip it up to get it nice and powdery so you get a super smooth icing. So we're gonna go with 2 cups of golden sugar and a nice little pinch of kosher salt. We are just going to run this on high speed for about 4 to 5 minutes. Come take a look. You see how much finer that is? Perfect consistency. To this, I'm just gonna add in 2 egg whites and keep blending until you got royal icing. It's perfect. This is the beautiful consistency of royal icing, where it coats, it doesn't roll around, it's not like it's dripping off. Nice and glossy, it's going to cool and turn matte as soon as it dries. I'm going to throw this into a piping bag with the tiniest tip ever, and then we're going to put it aside until we're ready to decorate. Let's get rolling. Our dough is nice and chilled. I want to make sure I use lots of flour. You don't want any sticking, and any excess we will brush off before we bake. I'm just going to roll this out until it is 1/4 of an inch thick. My trick to make sure that your dough doesn't stick to the table is after a few rolls, give it a turn. As soon as you feel the tiniest bit of sticking, more flour. Flour is your friend. This looks good to me. Obviously, you need some cookie cutters. We've got a gingerbread man as well as some little festive cutters. We got a stocking, a Christmas tree, a candy cane. I'm just gonna go through, cut out as much as I can, re-roll the scraps. You should get about 3 dozen cookies, depending on what the size of your cutters are, but pretty much just go until you've used it all up. So our first round of cookies are done. I'm gonna keep re-rolling and cutting. We're gonna have so many cookies to give away as presents or just have a huge party. Cookie swap, we love those here at VP. This is the perfect recipe for that. For your gingerbread people versus your little accoutrements, you obviously are gonna have to bake them at different times. These are much bigger. For the big ones here, I would say about 12 minutes at 350 degrees, rotating halfway through. And then for the small ones, about 7 to 8. Our cookies are cooled and now we just have to decorate them. I put our royal icing in a little piping bag. When I told you, as small as possible, this is the size I'm talking about, really like a pinhole. This is how you're gonna get a nice, clean line. Let's get piping. Our cookies are done. They're so gorgeous. I mean, the holiday season like screams cookies, and gingerbread people are like at the top of the ladder in terms of my favorite cookies for the holidays. As you can see, the icing, it dried and it creates that beautiful matte sheen. It's perfect, it's perfect. A little boot for our gingerbread person. All right, one last thing to do. I guess we should give it a try. Going for the head.
Decapitation has never been sweeter.
It's the best. And I honestly think that the next day gingerbread people are so much better. Why? Because I learned this like kind of baking like old school German spice cookies. The addition of baking soda in this mixture not only creates a little bit of leavening, but as well the next day it really kind of punches in that chewy texture that you're looking for. so good. The golden sugar, amazing. It adds the perfect kind of like molasses tones to go with the molasses in it, the brown sugar, all those warm